Today we're doing a bonus section on special right triangles. One of these special right triangles is a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. We know that if we make this side x, this side also has to be x because we have an isosceles triangle. If we want to do the Pythagorean theorem, we do x squared plus x squared equals c squared, our hypotenuse. We get 2x squared equals c squared. We take the square root of both sides. We know that our hypotenuse is x times the square root of 2. This is simply a base triangle. You'll need to memorize this. Our other special triangle is a 30, 60, 90. So if we make the side across from a 30-degree angle in x, the way that we get this information is that we have a equilateral triangle where all of the sides are the same. All of our angles are the same, so they're all 60 degrees. And then we're going to draw our altitude or our height right here. This makes this into a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So if this is x, we know that this is 2x because it's an equilateral triangle and our altitude just divided this in half. We can then use the Pythagorean theorem. So we get our c squared, 2x squared equals x squared plus our height squared. We'll go with height squared. So we get 4x squared equals x squared plus h squared. 3x squared equals h. We're going to h squared, that was my mistake. We're going to square root both sides. So we get x times the square root of 3 equals our height. So our 30, 60, 90 base triangle, across from our 30 is an x, across from our 90 is a 2x, and across from our 60 is an x times the square root of 3. So, in this problem, I'm going to change this to be a y, just so we don't confuse ourselves. So we've got a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. So we know that that can be written as x, x, x square roots of 2. So we can simply set these sides equal to each other. We know that 5 equals x. So then to solve for our y, we know y equals x times the square root of 2. If our x is 5, y simply equals 5 times the square root of 2. In this problem, we have a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, which we know is across from our 30 is x, across from our 90 is 2x, and across from our 60 is x times the square root of 3. So we know that 5 equals x times the square root of 3. We can divide by the square root of 3. X equals 5 over the square root of 3. We need to rationalize our denominator. So we multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. So we get x equals 5 square roots of 3 over 3. Our x value is s, so we know that that equals s. Now to solve for t, t simply equals 2x, which means it's 2 times 5 square roots of 3 over 3, which simply equals 10 square roots of 3 over 3. So, because we know that both these sides are x, we know this is isosceles, so it must be a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, which means it is x, x, and then this equals x square roots of 2. So we can solve for x. Maybe we're going to divide by the square root of 2. We're going to write it over here and see what works. So we get 7 square roots of 3 over the square root of 2 equals x. We do have to rationalize our denominator, so we're going to multiply by the square root of 2 over 2. 7 square roots of 6 over 2 equals x. All right, this triangle is a 30, 60, 90, which means it's x goes across from our 30, 2x goes across from our 90, and x times the square root of 3 goes across from our 60. So we can set 11 times the square root of 5 equal to 2x. divide by 2. X equals 11 square roots of 5 over 2. Terrible 5. All right, and then, so that is our F value. And then we're looking for our G value. G is simply X times the square root of 3. So we just plug in this for our X. So we get 11 times the square root of 5 over 2 times the square root of 3, which is 11 times the square root of 15 over 2. And that is our G value. This question asks us to find the area of the triangle. So we can tell that it is an equilateral triangle, so we know all of our angles are 60 degrees. So once again, we're going to divide our triangle. That makes this angle 30 degrees. So now we have a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, which is x, 2x, and x square roots of 3. So if 12 square roots of 2 equals 2x, and divide by 2, and that x equals 6 square roots of 2. And then we know that our height is simply x times the square root of 3, which is 6 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 3, which is 6 square roots of 6. So to find the area of a triangle, we do 1/2 base times height. So the area equals 1/2. Our base, we know, is 12 times the square root of 2, and our height is 6 square roots of 6. So we can multiply all of our terms that aren't under the radical. 1/2 times 12 is 6, times 6 is 36. And we can multiply all our terms that are under the radical. 2 times 6 is 12. The square root of 12 simplifies to 2 square roots of 3. So then we get 72 times the square root of 3, and that would be units squared because we don't know our units.